Hi everyone! Today we are going to be working with some probability questions. Let's read this problem together. Samantha sold flavored popcorn to raise money for her school club. She kept track of the preferences her customers had by completing the table below. So we have preferred flavors, we have butter, caramel, cheese, or garlic herb popcorn, and then the number of customers that chose that flavor. And so we can see that the most popular flavor was butter, and the least popular flavor was a tie between caramel and garlic herb with 6 each. As a thank you to her customers, she decided to give one free bag of popcorn to one random customer. Based on the results from the preferred flavors, which of the following can be a correct prediction? Now let's look at the table, and we see that the customer will either choose butter, caramel, or cheese. So if I'm looking at the table, caramel, butter, and cheese are on the table, but what about garlic herb? That is also a choice. What if the customer wants garlic herb? He will be able to get it. So this is not true because we're missing garlic herb. We don't know what the customer wants to choose. So letter B says the customer is 3 times more likely to choose butter than caramel. Okay, so I want butter from the table. That's 18, so I'm going to put it right here. Butter was 18, and caramel in my table was 6. Okay, so now I'm going to compare 18 with 6. And I'm going to use my comparison right here. 3 times more likely. Is 18 3 times more than 6? So is 6 times 3 18? Yes, it is. So this is true. Okay, so let's check another one just to make sure we're checking the answers. So letter C says the customer is 2 times more likely to choose garlic herb than cheese. Okay, so for garlic herb, I look in my table and I see that's 6. And for cheese, when I look in my table, that is 12. So this one can be tricky. Be careful, because when we're reading it from left to right. So when we get this comparison, it's 6 is 2 times more likely than 12. First of all, if you're getting confused with the way you're reading it, you can focus on this part first. More likely. So I can just say, is 6 more likely than 12? No, right? Because 6 is lower. So that right there can help you if you're confused between which number is the one that's supposed to be twice. Because some students will look at this and say, well, 6 times 2 is 12, so it's 2 times. But that's not true. This cheese is 2 times more likely, not garlic herb. So again, if you're confused, you can just use the more likely and look at it that way. Like in the top, the one that we have here and we decided is true. If we just look at the more likely, is 18 more likely than 6? Yes, it is, because it's higher. So 6 is not more likely than 12. So it's definitely not going to be 2 times more likely. So that one is false. And the last one says none of the above, but we already have something that is true, so we are not going to choose none of the above. Instead, we are going to choose B, because the customer is 3 times more likely to choose butter than caramel. I can see that from my table. So here, butter was 18, caramel is 6, and 6 times 3 is 18, which is butter. So yes, B is correct. The customer is 3 times more likely to choose butter than caramel.